A great day to have a great day. Matt Patricia is back in the Scarlet and Gray, confirmed for next year. I think we all knew that or all suspected that, but now it's finally real. Got a couple spring training hits that I want to get to. Got to talk Cavs. Got to talk NFL draft. Got to talk NFL draft combine. Honestly, Tyler, a pretty loaded Monday now that we've kind of got the show kind of laid out the way we would have liked. I'm Chris Drew, the host. That's my co-host, Tyler McCormick. Tyler, how are you doing today?
I'm good, man. I got something for you.
Okay, I always like a something.
Mount Union wide receivers have combined for over 10,000 receiving yards in the NFL since 2010. That's more than Utah, Minnesota, Missouri, Washington, Oregon, Arkansas, Michigan State, Auburn, TCU, and many more Power 4 teams.
That's lit.
Shout out to the Raiders.
Now, I can't even name one of them. Cecil Short?
Yeah, Pierre Garçon.
Pierre Garçon and Cecil Short. That's who I can name. I like Cecil, man.
Cecil was so good, bro.
Is he the first alpha slot? Just kidding. He's not. But
he was super smooth, and Pierre was kind of just like a physical specimen.
Pierre was a violent runner, bro. He ran like he wanted his whole foot to touch the grass every step, but he was motoring. He was there for those early RG3 days, man.
Yep, he was good.
Yeah, Cecil Short, man. Like, what year was that? Yeah, it was that 2013 year in Jacksonville. 700 yards. No, the year before, 900 yards. 17 yards per catch. Wow. Not Pierre. Wow, Cecil.
Yeah, dude.
That's cool, dude. That's cool. That's a cool stat, man. That is a cool stat.
I'm surprised that Oregon is not like. I'm a little surprised about Oregon,
dude. I'm not, because whenever I see these kids picking Oregon over Ohio State, Oregon over LSU, I think to myself, Doug, what Oregon receivers can you name in the league that are worth anything?
No, I used to think that kids went to Oregon just because they wanted to wear a different uniform every game.
My uncle told me that, and I believed him for the longest time. But think about it, Doug. If you think about kind of the legendary speed demons in the history of Oregon, since we've been covering the sport, can you name more than two guys? Or can you name one Oregon receiver that's got a second contract?
No, who was the kid?
LaMichael James?
LaMichael James, and then there was another one, something
Anthony Thomas.
Yes,
Anthony Thomas and Michael James, and those two were really fast scat backs. But I followed them. I wanted them to be really good.
With Oregon in NCAA football in 2014,
cheating,
unstoppable.
They were cheating. But again, we're talking about two guys back over a decade ago when they had the shiny helmets that really weren't really receivers. They were more like scat guys. Like, look, Tez. I hear you, Daniel. Like, Tez could be decent in the league, but we're talking about one in the most recent of memory. Like that, that's it. Like, in terms of like pedigree, like what you bring to me pedigree wise, Washington and USC both have better wide receiver pedigree out west than Oregon does.
I hear no lies being told right now.
Just straight facts. Everything I spit is facts. The next segment is also facts. Matt Patricia officially back. Thoughts when you saw the news?
I was like, okay, this is what I thought would happen. I'm glad it's official, pen to paper. We have the best defensive coordinator in college football
by a mile. I'll add. Like, I don't think it's enough to say he's the best DC in the sport in the country. I think he's the best by a while. You know what it's like? It's like when Michael Phelps was the best swimmer in the world. It wasn't that he was the best swimmer in the world, right? It was that he was the best by a lot. Now, I'm not saying we're like, in terms of like gaps. I'm not talking about like there's no Tiger Woods gaps anymore. Like there's the LeBron James gap, right? Like LeBron was just way better than the second best for a while there. Michael Phelps was way better than Ryan Lochte. Tiger Woods obviously was like literally just disgustingly better than everybody else right behind him. Matt Patricia is kind of like in the air of, I'm not just the best, I'm the best by a good amount.
Yeah, he's a rocket scientist, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how else to put it. He's a rocket scientist, and I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see him flex how good he really is now that he doesn't have like 4 first rounders on his defense.
Yeah, I mean, here we go. 2 parts. I don't know how much doubt you ever had about him doing whatever, leaving. The only doubt that I think I had was like when a couple of the jobs were opening in the NFL, and there was like nobody. Yeah, Cleveland being one of them. And there was like nobody hiring anybody. Everybody's just waiting. And it's like, okay, like, are you interested in Matt Patricia, who I think is widely regarded, widely respected as one of the best out there? I'm sitting back and I'm like, okay, no smoke around him, but these things gotta happen quickly. Okay, we're back. Good. Because he's going to have to retool this entire defense. And I think they're still going to be an elite defense. I think they're going to be at least by the end of the year. But I think because he's so football acumen and so good, I think it's going to look completely different. I think Matt Patricia has been around defensive football for a long enough time that he can skin a cat a bunch of different ways. He can use a bunch of different weapons to get the kill. He can do things differently to get to point B. Last year was obvious. Play the monsters. Let him go get the quarterback. Everything else will work out. This year, there's just significantly less monsters.
Correct. I think there's going to be. I think the biggest difference is going to be a drop off in athleticism, and so I think you're going to see them have to do it a different way, and that doesn't mean they're not going to be able to do it. I think it's just going to look and feel a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kenyatta coming back and Zion Grady. I think it's going to be a little bit more traditional pass rush, where it's going to be like, these are the big dogs. Go get the quarterback. Have the defensive tackles, eat up double teams so that, our linebackers can.
Have them eat up double teams. Have them eat up double teams so our guys can go win one-on-ones.
Yeah,
and then run twists around of it. This is where I'm at too, Tyler. I've always wondered. I've always thought to myself, why can't we have an elite defense that looks like Iowa's? Right? Because Iowa's, for 10 plus years, Tyler, has done it without marketably great athletes. It's been incredible what they've been able to do without marketably great athletes. I'm wondering, okay, I think Matt Patricia's a good enough coach to maybe give me a little taste of what that Iowa defensive success could look like. That's where I'm at. Because look, the linebackers are going to look like Iowa linebackers.
Yep.
The defensive line is going to look a step up from Iowa's defensive line, but Iowa.
Yeah, I was going to say it's still going to be significantly more athletic than an Iowa defense.
Yeah, but Iowa over the past 5 years has actually had more double-digit sack guys than Ohio State has. So they figured out a way to scheme guys into sacks.
Sure.
Iowa's defensive line looks like a bunch of Caden Currys, generally speaking.
Yeah,
not the guys built in a lab. Maybe not as good as Caden Curry, but they've been productive over the years. But what Iowa's always had that's really played is really, really athletic safety play and really athletic corner play. They've always excelled at those two spots.
No, I agree. I think it's going to be fine. Am I expecting them to hold teams less than 10 points? No, but I'm still going to be somewhere not 14 to 17 point a game margin. Somewhere in there. Mm-hmm. And I think that's perfectly fine. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little bit more turnovers as well.
Yeah, and I think part of the turnovers is because I think the defense is going to be out there more, and there's going to be more throwing opportunities, right? Like, you get turnovers usually on longer drives. You don't get them early in drives. It's like, play 4, 5, 6, turn the ball over. So, no, I definitely agree. I think there will be more turnovers because there'll be less 3-and-outs, if that checks out.
Gotcha. I just try to respond to a comment and I got rejected.
Tyler, is that a new pick of Troy Smith? No, you got that for Christmas, I believe, right?
I did get this for Christmas, Emily, but yes, this is the GOAT. I got him. Yeah. This is the guy.
Shout out Big Troy. So no, I'm excited about Matt Patricia being back. I think it would have been almost a disaster if he would have went to the league, considering everything you got to replace on defense. And this will be a real earn it money year. I don't know how long we're gonna have Matt Patricia, but I'm going to cherish every
at least for this year.
Yeah. I'm going to cherish the years. I'm not going to overlook the years. So I'm excited. I do think we could see more rotation this year and more personnel matching. So whatever that's worth to you, Tyler. I think it's fascinating.
Here. It's all good. All good things.
All good things. Okay. I do want to throw this up here. This is that's the wrong thing. This is Joe Glatt's top 10. Let me move this thing off the bottom. This is Joe Glatt's top 10 head coaches in college football. Number 1, Curt Cignetti. Number 2, Ryan Day. Number 3, Kirby Smart. Number 4, Dan Lanning. Number 5, Marcus Freeman. Anything that you would change about the top 5?
So I think it depends on how you are
criteriaing.
Your criteria. Are you talking about currently? Are you talking about their resume? Because if you're talking about the resume, Kirby Smart is still number one.
Yeah, my thing is like, who's the best coach? Like, that's all. I start and end there. Like, the best coach on this list is Signetti. The second best coach on this list is Ryan Day. Like, and those are the best coaches.
Yeah, I think if you were asking me, the top three. I don't have a problem with those guys being in somebody's top three, regardless of I can see arguments for all three of them.
I guess for me, there's no argument for Ryan or Kirby to be ahead of Kurt Signetti. None.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're going on what have you done for me lately, I think Ryan Day underachieved. I think if you were going off what have you done for me lately, I think Kirby Smart would be ahead of Ryan Day. Well, personally,
no way. Ryan Day.
I think Kirby Smart. Kirby Smart. I think Georgia overachieved last year, and Ohio State underachieved last year.
Ryan Day has a championship more recently, though.
I'm saying just last year, if you're going to rate these coaches based on what have you done for me lately, which should be last year, did Georgia or did they not under or overachieve?
I think they
overachieved.
They absolutely underachieved. What do you
They
mean?
were one of the youngest teams in the country last year. As far as
but they got beat by an Ole Miss team that had no business beating them.
I think
Georgia has crazy talent. They also lost to a worse team than Ohio State, and the team they lost to made it not as far in the tournament. And they also lost to Bama early in the year, who got just decimated by Indiana. And I think Ryan Day is absolutely a better coach than Kirby Smart. I think we just microanalyze Ryan Day more than we microanalyze Kirby.
Maybe.
We absolutely do.
We do. I'm saying
we absolutely do.
Over in the argument, what I'm saying is that I thought Ohio State underachieved. And I think Georgia did. I think Georgia was closer to who they were.
I guess that's fair, but it's like on the what have you done for me lately? Daniel has it in the chat. Kirby hasn't won a playoff game in 3 years.
Sure. I mean, I'm saying if you're looking at based on the performance last year, but overall, I think what Joe Platt's saying is overall, even doing a combination of overall and a combination of who's setting themselves up best the next 2 or 3 years.
And my stance is even last year, Ohio State lived closer up to their standard than Georgia did. Like, they put up a historic defense. The two teams they lost to were in the national championship. By every single metric, they were better off. And they also were super young at very production-heavy positions. Like, if you look at just production-heavy positions, I believe over 40%.
You could say both teams were probably pretty young.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like both teams were young. Ohio State had more underclassmen production than Georgia did.
Sure. It's also true, Daniel. That's a good point. If Noah Rogos makes the kick, it's a whole different conversation. Yeah. That's a good point.
So I think it's Signetti 1, Ryan Day 2, and I think that's kind of by a mile, and then Kirby Smart 3. The reason I can't put Ryan Day ahead of Sig right now is because
Signetti just beat him.
Well, no, and the part of it is Ryan Day and Kirby Smart don't do this if they're in Indiana. That's the one thing that's crazy. Signetti is program proof.
It's true.
And so that's what matters to me. Now I wanted your opinion on 4-5. Dan Lanning at 4.
Well, here's the funny thing is now I think there's a large gap between the first 3 and the rest.
I agree. In fact, I think there's a large gap. 1, 2, big gap. 3, big gap. 4, 5. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of respect for Kirby Smart, so maybe that's just me. But
I don't like that he doesn't correct his hires when he makes bad hires. That's what concerns me. And the defense looked less nasty every year removed they get away from Dan Lanning. But
in regards to Dan Lanning, I went off on Dan Lanning after they got boat raced by Indiana.
You did do that.
And Marcus Freeman, he's got some chinks in his armor too.
He's got some pimples.
Losing to some bad teams. If you look at those, those first 5 guys, three of them really don't lose to teams that are equal or, below talent level, right? But then you look at, Dan Lanning losing by, a lot big numbers, and Marcus Freeman losing to Marshall and Northern Illinois, and I also really I don't really love the fact that they took their ball and ran away and didn't play a bowl game.
Yeah.
I like it. I don't hate it. I think if you're asking me in the last 2 years, would I rather have gotten to a natty and missed the playoffs or gotten to the playoffs 2 years in a row? I don't know. I mean, it's like I don't have.
I'm surprised you're stuttering so much with this one or not.
I don't know. I just because they're both very flawed.
I'll say it. It's really easy. Today's college football, it's big game currency. I'm okay with you losing to bad teams. Just don't get wiped off the block by really good teams. I'm okay if you lose to Marshall because I know in a big game you're not going to get absolutely detonated on, right? Like so what? Like here we go. In previous college football, it was win the games you're supposed to win. In today's college football, it is I will excuse that Marshall loss. Sure. I'll excuse that Northern Illinois loss because if you show up in the big games, I want a big game coach. That matters to me more than the little game coach.
Yeah, that's a fair point. If you were asking me,
think about it, dog. Who felt closer to a national title? Who feels closer to being able to win an Natty? Dan Lanning or Marcus Freeman? It's 100% Marcus Freeman because he didn't get.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of one. Well, the first question when you asked me that question, the first thing I went to was like, all right, who can build me who's better at building their roster? And then the second question I was asking myself, like, who's better in the actual game? And Marcus is better in the actual game.
I'd argue, who's better
to perform better in the actual game?
Who?
Notre Dame has performed better in the bigger games than Oregon has.
And their roster, I would argue, is very close construction-wise.
Well, I think also Notre Dame is a more difficult place than Oregon to recruit to.
Notre Dame. Well, I'm saying I think their rosters are both pretty comparable, but
that's what I'm saying. Notre Dame as a comparable roster to Oregon, and I'm answering my own question. I would flip them.
I was surprised that you even hesitated with that one.
Yeah.
Now 6, 7, 8. Steve Sarkisian, Kyle Whittingham, Kalani Sitake. Dog,
both
I'm so
big
sorry.
Game losers. All three of them are big game losers.
Dude, you're out of your mind. Whittingham's a big game winner.
They lost both, but both big games they played last year, they lost.
Why did Caleb Williams never get to play in a playoff?
Okay, he's lost more. I was looking at last year.
Okay, well, here we go. Utah was in disarray here, dude. I would take Whittingham. I think Whittingham's a better football coach. Because here we go. If you lose big games at Utah, all right. But if you win big games at Utah, big kudos. If you lose big games at Texas, like resource-wise, who's better football?
I would put Mario ahead of all of those three guys.
I can't with Mario. He's a good coach. My issue with Mario is that he does the footwork shit so bad.
Sure.
Like, Mario's the only coach on this list that has lost the game with a 99.9% win probability. Are you aware of that?
You're holding on to that game. I mean,
99.9% win probability.
The crazy thing is we said that there's a gap between 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5. The gap between 5 and then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is even larger.
Yeah, agreed.
It's huge.
I also would, and it's funny, recency bias, obviously, with him not being that great. I think DeBoer is better than everybody in this bottom row.
Yeah, made it to a natty. Took Washington to a natty.
Yeah, he beat Dan Lanning twice. He's got that taken care of. He's beaten Kirby Smart twice. He's got that taken care of. Like,
he beat Sark.
He
in
beat
the playoff.
Sark. Yeah. I think. No, Yeah, he did beat Sark. Yeah, beat Sark in the playoff. Yeah, I think he's a better coach than everybody in the second row. Also, I think Lane Kiffin and Steve Sarkisian being on here is hilarious because all they are is just James Franklin with hair and SEC propaganda.
I would say I would go DeBoer at 6,
Mm-hmm.
Cristobal at 7, Whittingham at 8, and then whoever you like more. Do you like Sark or do you like Lane? I don't care. They're the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I might go Brett. I would go Brett Bielema over Lane. Give me Bretsky, dude.
Yeah.
Give me the Brett.
I've seen Lane win some big games though. Lose a lot of big games, but also win some big games.
But you've also seen Lane never make it to a playoff. Lane has never coached a playoff game. Lane has the same amount of playoff games as Brett Bielema.
I mean, I'm here for the Lane Kiffin 8 because he's a scumbag, so it's fine.
Yeah, dude.
However you want to slice it.
So I just thought it was a fascinating list. I thought,
the board not being on there is a little wild to me.
A little criminal.
Yeah,
I think it's criminal. I think it's criminal because he's done whooped a lot. Because here's the thing: a lot of coaches on this list don't want to see him, especially that guy sitting at number 3 doesn't want to see him.
Yeah,
but neither here nor there. Thought it was worth a discussion point. Want to jump ahead to the next topic that we got. All right, dude, we got the NFL draft is here. You made a mock draft.
Yeah, I did a little 2.0. Did another one.
Yeah. I like the 2.0s.
So this draft, I chose half of the NFL teams to draft for.
This is Tyler's 2.0. He picked half of the.
Yeah, so I didn't want to, because I think if you just keep doing it, you kind of do a lot of the similar things, just from a conviction standpoint. But yeah, it was interesting. I got the Browns taking 2 tackles. I think Francis is the best tackle in the draft.
You trust who he had to face every day in practice.
Yep, there's that too. And I know that I can plug him in at right tackle and he's going to be fine. Immediately, I think he's a NFL ready right tackle right now.
Yeah.
So I just plug him in and play right tackle, figure out left tackle, see if Monroe Freeland can do it. Yeah, Sonny to the Cowboys was a kind of, I think I could put that one in Penn.
I don't think
if Sonny Styles is there at 12, he's going to the Cowboys.
I agree with you if he's there at 12. I don't think he's making it. I don't think he's making it past the top 10, big dog.
The problem is like there's a lot of really good pass rushers, and pass rushers are currency.
Yeah, they'll push you up the board. Like the Folk kid, the Reuben Baines.
Yep, and so I think it's one of those things where
David Bailey.
I think the thing that's working against Sonny Styles and Caleb Downs is positional value.
Yeah, I agree.
And defensive pass rushers are like, if you can get a legit, all pro, I think that at defensive end, the pass rusher, like, you have to take him.
This would be incredible for Caleb Downs to drop to 10. Bengals fans would be so thrilled.
Yeah, I think a lot of Bengals fans would be pumped. I mean, it's a short drive, and the Bengals defense is like the Browns offense. They just need the most amount of good players. I don't think the Bengals should be looking at positional value. They just need good football players. And if Caleb Downs is there, you absolutely take him. I think that's also a no-brainer.
I think the Bengals wake up on draft day and they either need Caleb Downs or Sonny Styles. My worry is that both those guys will end up being top 7, top 8 picks.
The only thing that would make me nervous as the Bengals is if Kansas City takes Caleb Downs.
I do like this mock, you having Jeremiah Love to Kansas City. That'd be fun. That'd be really fun.
Yeah, because Isaiah
he's a monster. He's a Bijan level prospect.
Yeah, the things that I think that he could, because remember a couple years ago they took Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah, who wasn't very good.
And they wanted something like that. And Jeremiah Love is just a significantly better prospect.
Well, I think he's a true running back, right? Like
and Isaiah Pacheco he's been good, but I think it's been a byproduct of the system. I think Jeremiah Love is better than a system.
Yeah, Jeremiah Love is a win-win-win no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, how many running I don't believe in the value of the running back position, and I still had him in a top 10 pick. That's
I
how
mean,
good I think
honestly,
Carolina is.
he's gonna be a first round fantasy back this year.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I'm a big fan.
For the most part, I think a lot of this is there's not. What's funny is there's a lot of teams that have like a specific need, but their need is like tight end or safety or where the position just doesn't go in the first round. So a lot of teams have the ability to go, for a BPA. So I think it's what I found funny is I didn't pick for the Jets. The Jets took Carnell Tate and Ty Simpson.
So grossly high.
Yeah, it's super duper high. I did see that ESPN Cleveland. Somebody was on. I think it was Jake Trotter. Jake Trotter was on ESPN Cleveland. Said he wouldn't take Carnell Tate in the top 10.
I don't think there's any concerns in my mind with Carnell Tate.
I don't either. I don't understand. He's 6'3". He's probably going to run a full mid 4.4.
He can play every swing spot. He
high points the football. He catches the ball with his hands, and he has a full route tree.
He's kind of got a PhD in football.
Yeah. So I think it's an interesting. I think the first round is going to be heavy pass rusher and offensive lineman. That's my guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're going to see a lot of, especially early. And you know how it is. I mean, in the draft, when there's a strong position group in a draft, when the first domino falls, teams tend to follow suit quickly because they panic, because they want to make sure they get one of the guys in a deep class.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It's an interesting, Spencer Fanu falling to the Rams would be interesting. I think you wonder how much longer Matt Stafford has. And if you go find yourself a legit left tackle, how long does that extend Matt Stafford's career?
I mean, Matt just had 50 touchdowns this year, dude. I think we're good for a little while.
I know. It's just one of those things where, like, he's aging for somebody that's got his ass beat. He got his ass beat in Detroit.
He was getting tattooed out there, man. It sucked.
And it just makes you wonder how much, like, when do those catch up to him? But he still has one of the best arms in the NFL, and now he's just also really smart. So
he's playing really smart football, and that's like kind of the separator.
Yeah. So
thoughts behind Freeling at 24, if he's available, do you feel like that's a reach for him, or do you like him in that kind of range?
I don't. I think there's the first group, which is like Francis, Spencer, Caleb Lemieux, and then that's
the guys who I would bet on potentially being franchise guys. Like that.
Those are the first three guys, and then I think the next crop would be that Monroe Freeling, Kalen Proctor, the Max kid from Arizona State. That's the next three. I don't think anywhere between 23 and 32. I think you can. Which one do you like more? I don't think it's a reach.
Do you like Proctor more than Freeling? I don't like the Max kid at all from Arizona State.
No, I don't like the kid from Arizona State either.
I'm all the way out. I turned on that Texas Tech game. I said, boy, he will be out of the league in a year.
Yeah, so it just depends on, how much do you believe in the rumors about Caden Proctor, and do you like, because they're both massive people.
I need to see Caden Proctor's medicals too.
Yeah, it just depends. I would be fine with either one. I think the ceiling with Proctor is probably a little higher because he's like
because he's a freak athlete. He looks sloppy to me sometimes, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
he probably has I can't imagine when he goes and buys like athletic shorts. Like, what size shorts do you think that guy needs for his legs to fit?
The answer is yes.
Pause.
I'm just saying, bro. It's like, hey, are those shorts or underwear? Yes.
Boy, why you wear compression shorts out to the mall?
Say, dog, those are 2XLs. What you mean?
Ben, you need to chill out. You're just saying whatever in the chat.
My bad, bro. This is a good mock. I have another mock, but I do want to address something real quick that I feel like is needed. I just want to I just appreciate Don B. Don B took care of something for me. Don B, Ben, and Posh that I greatly appreciate. You guys are legends. I do want to talk about this Daniel Jeremiah mock. Daniel Jeremiah is my favorite in the world of mock drafts.
Sure.
This is his most recent. It's going to be pretty standard with a couple twists in there. He's got Fernando 1, David Bailey 2 to the Jets, Francis 3 to the Cardinals, which I think makes a ton of sense.
They need a tackle.
Well, and they don't have to play
him a tackle opposite of
PJ.
Yeah.
Immediately, that gives you like the best young duo in football.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about someone moving positions, and that sets them up to do the thing next year where they draft a quarterback.
Yep.
So that's really cool. And so you think about it, you're gonna have a young core of Paris, Francis, Marvin, and a new quarterback next year, and a ton of cap space. They got Ruben Bain 4 to the Titans, having Ruben Bain being the first edge guy ahead of Arvell Reese. Thought it was fascinating. New York Giants select Carnell Tate at 5. Spencer Fano at 6. Checks. And then you got Arvell Reese and then Mekhi Lemon to the Saints. I think Mekhi Lemon makes a ton of sense to the Saints. They seem to be pretty invested in Tyler Shuck. To pair him up with Chris Olave, you kind of push Chris Olave to be number 2. And, with the injury concerns, that's fair. He also, like you, had Jeremiah Love 9 to Kansas City. He had Caleb Downs 10 to the Bengals, which is what you had. Delane 11 to the Dolphins. McCoy 12 to the Cowboys. Sonny Styles still on the board.
That would be such a Jerry Jones pick, bro. Oh, awful pick.
It would be terrible. They have the Toledo safety, which is crazy. Emmanuel McNeil-Warren 13 to the Rams. That would blow my mind. Jordan Tyson 14 to the Ravens. Sonny Styles all the way to 15 to the Buccaneers. That would be a home run. And now on the description, he said, I have Styles rated much higher than 15th in my prospect rankings, but not all teams value off-ball linebackers the same way. Styles can plug the hole if Levante David does not return. So that was what I don't want to read the whole thing, but they do have Monroe.
Did they have Caden McDonald in the first round?
They have Denzel Boston to the Steelers, which is such a Steelers pick.
Yep.
Sadiq to the Chargers. And no, he does not have.
Wow, so he only has 3 Ohio State players in the first round.
Yeah, 3 of them. He's got Malachi Fields, which I think is crazy.
If you were the Browns, and let's just say, for example, all the offensive linemen that you like are off the board, and you're sitting there, and it's like Mekhi Lemon's gone, Carnell Tate's gone, Monroe Fielding's taken, and Caden Proctor's taken, and you got the Max kid from Arizona State, and you got Denzel Boston, and you got Caden McDonald.
I mean, you go Blake Miller if you want one.
I think that's a reach. I feel like that's a reach. Like, do you take Caden McDonald if you're the Browns at 26?
At 24, yeah.
24? Like, if the other alignment that you don't like are gone, and there isn't a receiver that you love at 24, you go. I just don't know if it fits.
Would you go Peter Woods? No, you can't go DT back-to-back years in round 1, dude. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, like, Miles, Caden McDonald, Mason Graham.
That'd be crazy.
Nah, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. If that was the case, I probably would trade
down.
I would trade it. If there was something like if all those guys were gone, I'd probably trade out of it.
Yeah, you got to trade. I agree. I would trade out of that one. Or you got to see the field, man. If they start to you don't want to trade up in this draft actually, but no. I would definitely trade out of it.
No, I'm not trading up. I'm not trading up.
Yeah, no, I don't want to trade up. Okay, jumping ahead a little bit. The Cavs lose to OKC with no SGA. Not really end of the world, but just kind of eyebrows raised because SGA didn't play, and you want that to be that's like a chin check, right? Like make this feel like a heavyweight battle.
I think it was the way that they lost.
Yeah.
That is concerning.
It kind of looked like they got outclassed.
Listen, I am there's two things that concern me about that game. One, why does Donovan Mitchell look like Larry Hughes when he plays against the Oklahoma City Thunder?
Yeah.
Is that a crazy stray, by the way?
That's a disgusting stray. I was going to let you have it, though.
I just don't understand why he doesn't look the same.
He looks like he's scared to attack the length, man.
Well, and the thing that's concerning also is that he's bitching and complaining about fouls in the postgame, which I don't like. I don't like my superstars talking about fouls as an excuse.
Yeah, he can't go 0 for 6 from 3 is my thing. That's really hurting. You know, like NBA is such a make or miss league.
And I mean, they were down 32-8.
Yeah.
10 minutes into the game.
Just an early blow. I'm glad they kept it close though later on. I mean, obviously, like the Cavs going on to they outscored the Thunder in quarter 2 and quarter 3. So they won the middle 6, but then they got outscored in the fourth quarter.
The other thing that it's concerning to me is I am very, very disappointed. You know, I have some real doubts about Evan Mobley.
Yeah.
I mean, so in the game, Jared Allen had 11 points and 13 rebounds with 3 turnovers. Why the fuck Jared Allen has 3 turnovers? I have no idea. Evan Mobley played 25 minutes. He was 6'11". He had 15 points and 2 rebounds.
That can't happen.
That cannot happen.
Well, and especially when the guy you're guarding, you know how many rebounds he had?
Yeah.
15. Chet Holmgren, skinny little guy. Like you're
come
supposed
on,
to dominate Chet, right?
They just really, really lack, like when it matters, when you're playing a team of equal talent to you, they just don't have that toughness, that confidence.
Yeah, I know. Here we go. I think Oklahoma City plays like a real grit style too, on top of being really talented. Like Lou Dort be fouling the shit out of Donovan Mitchell. I'll give it a stack. He'd be fouling the dog shit out of him.
I guess, man, but
he does, man. He's a hackaholic, and they just like let it slide. I think, for the most part. But like, it's just that it was without SGA.
But what are you going to do in a 7-game series in the NBA Finals where they're not going to call it? They're going to swallow the whistle.
Well, if you're in a 7-game series with the Oklahoma City Thunder, it means you're in the finals, and this is finals or bust, right? Not when the finals are bust, it's finals or bust.
I get it, and and if that happens and they were to lose, I would still be mad in the moment that they lost the NBA Finals.
Yeah, me too.
If you because if you get there, that's not how fandom works.
Mm-mm.
It takes you sometimes it's a day, sometimes it's 2 days, sometimes it's a month where you're like, yeah, that was awesome. But in the moment when you lose, you'll be like, dog, what the fuck happened? And we're not going to give Donovan Mitchell the excuse if he goes out and he averages 20 points a game and they lose to the Oklahoma City Thunder in 6 games. I'm not going to be like, yeah, Lou Dort was fouling the shit out of him. Nobody's going to say that. Ain't nobody going to say that.
I just hate Lou Dort. Can I just say it? I hate Lou.
That's fine. You can hate him.
I hate him.
But here's the thing about but I also have confidence that Donovan Mitchell is a tough guy. He's a cold-blooded killer. He's a scorer. He's a top 10 player in the NBA. Like, if that comes down to it, he will figure it out.
Right.
Evan Mobley, though, we were told that, he was going to be an MVP candidate from Kenny Atkinson. He said, Evan Mobley within 2 years should be an MVP candidate. Well, he's not. Not even close.
No.
And so, at what point, I'm not going to throw out the B word on him, but
no, he's not a buzz. He's just like a really good, not great player.
It's one of those things where, how much of this still rests on his shoulders?
I mean, I think he doesn't have the personality for it, right?
I know, but what I'm saying is, before the season, I said,
yeah, but now
we go as far as Evan Mobley takes.
Well, now they got to know that Harden take us there. Donovan Mitchell take us there.
So it's obviously less on Evan Mobley, but I still think that the version that we saw on Sunday is not good enough to win an NBA Finals no matter what Donovan Mitchell and James Harden do. Because if the game slows down, and you can't get it's one thing for Evan Mobley to get beat up by Cat and OG Anunoby. You can't get beat up by Chet Holmgren. He's 7 feet tall and weighs the same as much as my right leg, dog. I don't want to hear it.
My only pushback is that this might be the only time this entire year where Harden and Mitchell, one of the two, doesn't go over 20 points.
I mean, didn't they both had 20 points?
I'm saying go over. Like, this might be the only time. Like, them both being held right at 20 is not going to happen again all year.
I hope so, man. But, like, again, like, he's supposed to be better than Chet.
No. He is, but I'm telling you right now, bro, like, either Harden or Mitchell are going to have these moments in playoffs where one of them goes and gets you 40. Like, there's not going to be a day where they're both honestly, there might not be a day where they're both under 25.
So who's guarding SGA?
I mean, Dean Wade, I choose you.
Maybe.
I mean, Dean Wade is one of the most underrated defenders, maybe in the entire league.
No, I'm saying, but like he's got to guard somebody else, though, doesn't he?
Why would he have to guard somebody else? I mean, he's a big, but I would put him. No, you can't put Dean on SGA.
You're not putting Dean Wade. That's what I'm saying. I was like, maybe, but like, I mean, I think Donovan has to guard SGA.
Honestly, Jordan Tyson, just go start watching the film right now.
Well, yeah, that's not a bad idea either. I mean,
he's the best athlete on the team outside of Donovan.
Well, Keon Ellis is also a pretty good defender as well.
Yeah.
But again, I'm just really disappointed in Evan Mobley, man. I really am.
Yeah.
And I think it goes back to the conversation we had, a few weeks ago about, the NBA product itself. And like Evan Mobley's 23 years old and he's making $45 million this year.
There's no reason for him to get it going.
What else do I have to do? What else do I have to prove?
Nothing.
And I think that's not just an Evan Mobley, that's an NBA problem.
Mm-hmm.
These guys making just so much cash so early in life.
They're just too rich too early.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is what it is, and I'm just disappointed in Evan Mobley, and I still think, if Evan Mobley can play to his current ceiling, then I think this team is going to be really hard to beat no matter who they're playing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think as long as, Donovan and James do what they're supposed to do, and if Evan is the guy that we hit up to his ceiling, they're going to be really hard to beat.
They're going to be really hard to beat anyway, even if Evan Mobley's not at the ceiling.
How important, I do want to ask you this before we switch over to baseball. How important is it for Max Strus to play well pretty quickly as soon as when he comes back?
Really important. I
think so too.
Really important. He's got to be a guy that like they learn how to fit him in with James really quickly.
Yeah. And I think it's easy for Max because like I think Max is a pro's pro. I think he's a shooter, and it's like I can fit in, like he can learn how to fit in, in a variety of different ways quickly.
Yeah. No, it's important.
But I need him to be healthy. I need him to be shooting the ball well.
Yeah.
Because this second unit desperately needs shooting.
Yeah, they need him. That's where they need him. I want to flip over to baseball, like you said. Hoskins.
Pumped about Rhys Hoskins. I think I cannot pray hard enough for Rhys Hoskins to take all of David Fry's at bats.
All of them. Can David Fry catch yet?
I don't know. Man. Like I am David Fry's biggest hater.
You are, but David Fry went yard, man.
Cool. It's February. I just like, to me.
So here's the only pushback.
Reese Hoskins is who Cleveland Guardians fans think David Fry is.
That's fair. But David Fry is catching this year. Does that change your outlook?
It does, because David Fry is significantly better than Austin Hedges. Significantly.
He caught Sunday against the A's. The issue is they don't televise half these games.
Yeah.
He said that finally being back behind the plate after elbow surgery and a broken face was so much fun and so cool after such a long rehab. He caught Parker Messick. He's all of a sudden your best offensive catcher by a mile.
If David Fry can catch,
that
I don't
changes
want
everything.
I don't want to see David Fry DHing
Ever.
in place of Kyle Manzardo, because now what you're doing is you can platoon your catching position. Bo Naylor faces right-handed pitching. David Fry faces left-handed pitching.
I mean, it puts you in a spot where you're going to have Hoskins, Manzo, and David Fry all in the lineup together. That's a huge win for Cleveland.
Huge.
That's a huge win.
Huge.
And I think that's where the Hoskins, signing is big. High upside, capable of mashing, been there in big moments. Shocked they got him on the deal that he did. But I'm sitting back like, I kind of like this team against lefties.
It kind of also, what it also does is, I think if you do this where if you want to platoon Hoskins and Kafis, Manzardo he's just your DH every single day.
You don't want to see him at first this year?
Not if I have Reese Hoskins and CJ Kafis. For what?
Got you. I just thought I think at times it's so important to try to develop Manzo into a first baseman you can play. Because at some point you're going to have to clear up that. Here's the thing. At some point that DH spot needs to be wide the fuck open, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, it needs to be for Jose Ramirez.
Exactly. So you still want to work in Manzo at first, because Manzo's a part of your long-term future.
That's fair. I think what it really comes down to is, I think there's three things that need to happen, and I sent it to you and Pat today.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Manzardo needs 550 at-bats.
Yep.
Which is an everyday player. Chase DeLauder needs 400 at-bats, and Travis Bazzana needs 300 at-bats. I don't care how you get it there. I don't care what it looks like. It just needs to happen.
I don't know if Manzo's going to get there.
But if there's no reason why it shouldn't happen. He's the second best hitter on the team. What are we doing?
Well, yeah, I mean, I just don't think Bazzana's going to get 300 at bats. Is really where I'm at.
Well, I'll tell you what. Here's the thing with Bazzana. Do I think the Guardians front office is slow playing Travis Bazzana? Yeah, extremely frustrating. But on the flip side,
there's not room.
And I think this is the difference between Bazzana and DeLauder, is that DeLauder, when he's been out there, has showed that he is a major leaguer. He showed it in AAA, and he showed it when he came out for the playoffs.
Well, and you told us that you think so because you played him in the playoffs.
Correct. Travis Bazzana has not made it abundantly clear that he's a major leaguer when he's. I don't
think Bazzana's ready yet. I think you're still trying to rush. I think he should be ready. He's not ready. He should be ready again. Number one overall pick, but he's not.
But I'm saying, I think what people don't understand is when guys are getting, on the cusp of getting called up, you have to leave no doubt.
Yeah.
That you are a major leaguer. And Travis Bazzana has not done that. And that's just the truth. And that's disappointing because he was drafted 1-1.
And there's a guy on that draft that is.
And however you feel about whether it's fair or not fair, that's reality. When you're drafted 1-1, you have to carry those expectations.
Especially when the guy that was in your draft hit 37 home runs as a rookie.
Didn't he win rookie? You won rookie of the year, right?
Nick Kurtz, yeah. And then second in rookie of the year was the other kid for the A's. And then fourth in rookie of the year was the other kid from the A's.
I'm just reading Don B.
Dude, Don B's hilarious, bro.
And Ben
just showing love. Appreciate what you guys are doing. Best primetime sports show. #support biracial podcast. Can we call this show Mixed Opinions? You guys are ridiculous. Quick note: Hosey's ready. Hosey's ready.
No, you cannot skip this one.
That's that. White takes for black sakes. Jesus Christ, Todd. You guys are so fried.
Fantastic.
Dude, we have Chris Bassett talk salary cap. This was the quote. Baseball needs salary cap or floor. I think they need a floor. Won't get a cap, but obviously we're approaching status. We're going to get a work stoppage next year. Chris Bassett, the salary cap doesn't fix anything. If you look at every major sport that has a salary cap, we have the best parity. The salary cap is not the issue. Having suppressed salaries across the league so owners can make more money is not the answer. Like if I tell you in 25 years the Dodgers will be going to 10 World Series and winning 7 of them, is that an issue? Because that's the Patriots.
Pause
Chiefs
right there. Pause right there. Pause right there. That's just factually incorrect.
Yeah,
the Patriots went like a decade without winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah, Wes Welker has 0 Super Bowls.
So like that's factually incorrect. Continue.
Yeah. He said the Chiefs have been to 6 or 7. Philadelphia Eagles have been to 4 or 5, which, dude, he's just adding 2 to every number.
Yeah.
The parity in our sport is better than any other sport, so it'll make changes to try to help the so-called bottom teams. To make the bottom teams spend more. That is not the answer because, again, if you're trying to make competitive league across the board, we have proof that every single league has less parity than ours. So how can you sit there and say salary cap is going to fix this when every single salary cap sport has less parity than ours? It makes no sense. That's Chris Bassett being disingenuous and not wanting salaries to be cut down. He's doing his job. What he doesn't mention there is that 2 parts. Salary cap probably doesn't fix a lot of things. Salary floor is the most important thing because you can't have these teams spending under $120 million and then getting a huge cut back from the media rights deal from the MLB. It's super simple. Salary floors.
So here's the thing. And when I say what I'm saying, keep in mind, I'm not defending the owners. I'm not an owner defender. Okay? But this is going to be a negotiation. You cannot ask the owners to give up something with nothing in return. That's not a negotiation.
You're right.
Right? So, like, of course, I'm not in favor of the owners making more money. Fuck them. They're billionaires. I'm never going to feel bad for a billionaire. Never going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But in a negotiation, you can't just demand and say this is what it is and then expect them not to push back a little bit. Because here's the thing is that you hear that Chris Bassett is now doing his job, but the guys that are making the most noise are the guys that make the most money. And they can say like, oh, we're pushing the game forward for the next generation. Bullshit. You're not. You don't care because the only people that are going to lose in this whole thing is the fans. They're the only ones that are going to lose in this because the players are greedy, the owners are greedy, and the only ones that is losing is the fans. Now, does a salary cap fix everything? No, it doesn't. Because it's still going to be, you know, a free agent's going to make a decision like, okay, I'm going to either go, they're going to have what we call bad team adjusted. There's a bad team tax. If you're going to pay me, if I'm going to come play in your city for a bad team, you're going to pay me more, which means less money for the rest of the roster. But that's in all sports, period. That's in all sports. And the other thing about baseball having more parity is because the game is designed for it.
Yeah,
because it's
so
not
random.
just about pure athleticism and dominance. That's not what baseball is.
There's so much randomness and so much luck involved. Tyler, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So you know how the MLB works is each team has a media rights deal. and each team pays a percentage of their media rights deal to the MLB overall pot. Do you know what team pays the lowest percentage to the MLB?
No.
Do you want to guess?
The Dodgers.
Yeah. The Dodgers pay the lowest percentage out of any team. You know why? Because the owners went bankrupt and had a divorce. And the contract linkage with the MLB during that time has set them up to pay the lowest percentage of their media rights deal to the MLB than any other team. That is why they can spend the most money like this. So not only do they pay the lowest percentage, but they also have the Japanese TV market as well to capitalize on. And so they're able to give out these huge long-term deals. If I'm Chris Bassett, I'm not being loud about salary cap, salary floors. I'm saying you guys all want a salary cap. The biggest issue is that team is making more money than everybody else, and they're paying less money than everybody else. And because of that, they're able to pay the players more. Like that's where I'm going if I'm anybody.
You know what else Chris Bassett should be loud about? Is to get rid of this arbitration thing.
Yeah, you want to talk about something crazy, bro.
You're holding guys back from getting their second contracts
for 6 years.
Yeah, what kind of bullshit is that?
6 years. Paul Skeens is the best pitcher second best pitcher alive, first best, depending on who you ask. He's not going to crack the top 50 highest paid until 6 years in. And by then, throwing as hard as he does, he might need a Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, that's what you should be talking about. And like, if you want to make the salary cap, $350 million, I don't think people are going to really be that upset about it.
No,
just put a limit on it.
Here's the thing. Like, every team except for 2 teams adhere to the Cohen tax. You know what the Cohen tax is? It's like for every million you spend over like this hard luxury, it's 200%. So you have to pay double that, and then that money goes to the bottom of the league. Every team adheres to that except for 2 teams, the Mets and the Dodgers.
Right. And so it's just one of those things where, like, those are the things that you should be fighting for.
Those
are the thing, the arbitration and how long a guy is on his rookie. Like, it should just be when you make your debut, you're on that contract for 4 years or whatever it is.
It should, honestly, in baseball, it should be 3 years.
Whatever.
And no more.
I don't even care what it is.
And no more waiting till June or bring the guy up and sending him back down.
But like, if you're Bryce Harper, you're talking about, we're doing it for the next guy, or you're doing it for the next guy.
Do that for the next guy.
Do that for the next guy.
Mm-hmm.
Get guys their second contracts before they're 30 years old.
Because
before they're out of their prime.
Ben Rice last year, 25 years old. He's got 5 more years till he gets that contract. Dog, he's going to be 30.
Yeah, dude, what are we talking about? That's the shit. That's why, like, Bryce Harper was on with Bustin' the Boys, and he was a total douchebag. Just an epic douchebag.
He was bad. He was right about a lot, but he was bad.
And it's just like the arrogance that the players have, but like, and I think depending on how hard each side wants to play, we could miss out on a lot of baseball in 2027. A lot of baseball.
And the real losers are the guys who don't have the huge contracts.
Right. The minor leaguers.
Yeah, because Bryce
Harper, guy's making $30,000 a year.
Bryce, Soto, Shohei, Yamamoto, like those, like the loud voices, they don't have to ever play again.
Yeah. Fuck Bryce Harper.
Yeah, Tyler hates Bryce Harper.
Most overrated superstar in baseball in the last 20 years. Not here for it.
We could have a whole Bryce Harper discourse. I'm gonna do it today. We're right at an hour. Hey, make sure you like and sub while you're here. We're still floating around 9K. It'd be awesome to get there. Bryce Harper that's his boy, man. That's Ron's boy. Yeah, but Juan Soto's living the life that Bryce Harper thought he was gonna live. Like, sub. We're getting out of here.
By the way, can't believe we didn't mention that. How cool! I know. Like, did you watch the United States hockey game?
Oh, me? Yeah. I watched overtime.
So you watched a minute and a half?
It was an exciting minute and a half.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, man. like United States soccer does not make me feel that excited about then like United States hockey. That was awesome. That was really cool. I don't know shit about hockey. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was watching. You know how you like watch basketball and you can tell that the offense is like running a play?
Yeah.
Like guys are moving in a certain way, and like, oh, they're trying to run a play.
Dude,
watching hockey, bro, I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. I just, hockey's cool. It's just not a better sport than it's just not better than short track speed skating.
Here's why I can hate Bryce Harper. He is a Buckeye fan, but here's the thing: is that Bryce Harper is more famous than his production has
Yeah,
as a professional baseball player, and him being the face, being this famous, and being the face of Major League Baseball for the guy who's never even going to sniff 500 homers. He hasn't even hit 400 homers. And he's supposed to be the great power hitter of this generation. Get the fuck out of here.
He's like,
like I can name 5 guys that have had better careers in the same era of Bryce Harper.
Ooh, who you got?
Mike Trout.
Wait. All right, go ahead. Who you got?
Mike Trout, Manny Machado, Nolan Arenado.
Okay, Nolan.
There was another one. I looked it up, bro. I was in the chat. Fuck.
You're not gonna go Judgy?
Yeah, I mean he's in that same. The thing is, like,
they're the same age.
Yeah. Judge. Who else? Who was my other one I named?
And then it's like you got to decide if you want to go Schwarberskis, if you want to go Hosey.
Oh yeah, and Jose. That was the other one.
It's fun.
And Jose.
And Joey Gallo. All right, dude. I'm Chris. That's Tyler.
Peace.